What up? We're back doing this thing. Oh shit, let me turn this off. Alright, we're running it. We're running this again. Some more recent photos. Chronological order. Gonna go down the line. Talk about them. Pick them apart a little bit. Hopefully I can add some insight. It's just good to reflect on recent photos. So that's what we're going to do. Feel free to join along. And first off, we're going to divert just a little bit to look at an old photo. This picture is of an artist called Grouper. She does a solo project. She makes really, really beautiful music. One of my favorite artists ever. Had a chance to see her in like a cathedral or like an old church in LA. It was a really awesome experience. I really like this photo more for sentimental reasons than anything. Yeah, it was super quiet venue. You could hear a pin drop at this thing. Everybody was really respectful. There was a couple other ambient artists that played. Super awesome. And yeah, I just kind of snuck a photo in the crowd. It was, I could tell that it was kind of one of those events where you don't want to take out your phone, don't want to take out your camera too much, because basically if you stir, like you're making noise that people around you could hear. But I managed to get this photo silently and a couple more, but this one turned out the best, even though it's not amazing. But I think it captures the overall feel of seeing her live, the very somber, like sad mood. Nice colors. There was like a projection in the background. It wasn't doing anything crazy in this moment, but some moody lighting in the picture. But this is just a photo that I hold dear. It was one of the best nights of my life, just because it was like a milestone. Like it was like a bucket list type of event to see her live. And I will never forget this night. So with that being said, let's see some new photos. And I will say most of them have been taken on my bike on two wheels when I'm moving. So we'll see what I got lately, past week or so. This picture of the boat looking kind of through this little fencing, I actually pulled over and I took this shot. I passed by it. And it caught my eye, so I just went back, took a quick snap of it. Lighting was not too bad. Of course, when you see something framed up like that, it's like you have to take a picture of it, so that's what I did. Not too much to say about this one. I enjoy it. I think it's an okay photo. Probably could have composed it a little bit better. I didn't really do any adjustments. I just rolled up to it, stopped, took the photo, didn't adjust anything. And I just moved on. So maybe I'll try again next time. But cool photo to me. We have this spillway that leads up to the mountains here. I like to take pictures here whenever there's a flood, something like that, a little more, dramatic. And it's kind of interesting to watch. There's usually waves in the water when it's really filled up. It's cool to look at. This was just a nice clear day, kind of. You can see the clouds kind of coming in over the mountains. And I just rolled up. Oh, and I wasn't moving on this one. This was another one where I pulled over, took the picture. I can't resist mountains whenever I see them. So I'm going to take a picture like that. And we got this sick van here. I love the little color scheme on there. Super old school vibes. Looks like a really cool car to have. I passed this thing a couple times, and then I just decided to take a couple pictures of it because it's an awesome ride. I'm jealous of this person's setup. They got the little hella lights on the front. We got some people running in the background. That's a little cherry on top. It makes the photo more interesting for sure. But it's not a great photo. You see it's, kind of dark. Background is lit. Yeah, I probably should use the flash on this one. It is what it is, but cool car. Here we have some more detail on a different car that I saw. I was cruising by. So far, all these I've been standing in place, not in motion. You can definitely tell when I'm in motion on my bike. So I just like to point that out when I'm standing still, because more often than not, I'm rolling. Yeah, but this had a cool engraving on there. The cramp sticker goes hard. I mean, this car was sick. It was like a, what's it called? Like a El Dorado or El Camino? El Camino. Or something similar. Kind of like our version of a Ute, but like old school. Sick car. It kind of had like a hearse vibe to it. So, saw the car, saw the little detail shot. Yeah, just documented it. This one here is not too special, but I thought it was funny. This dude was taking a picture of this squirrel that I always see. I think in the first video that I posted, I have a picture of the squirrel that he's taking a picture of, or a video. It's a shame that you don't see the squirrel up top, because that fool just like hangs limp on top of this fence and just like sunbathes at the end of the day. I've seen him like 4 or 5 times now. But yeah, shame the squirrel's not in frame. Maybe next time, maybe I'll be able to catch something like that. I tried on this one, so that's what I was going for here. Didn't quite turn out. I'll just move quickly past this one. I don't really like taking pictures of people's backsides. They're not that interesting. What I thought was okay about this one is that this girl's kind of walking in towards the light. I wish that there wasn't, if you look towards like the flare in the middle or in the background, there's another person walking towards her. I wish that person wasn't there. It would have been better if they weren't, but yeah, I tried. This is another one that I try for. I think I kind of failed on this one. Bad framings. You know, it's a little blurry and could have better subjects, but I was riding by, I popped it off real quick. I'm definitely going to try to get this photo every time that I go by. You know, different people in the frame, different things happening, different lighting conditions. So this time didn't really work out. On to the next. I kind of like, I wish I cropped it in a little bit. You know, I don't modify any of these pictures or edit them at all. It's just straight out of camera. The framing is not amazing. I do like that there's a lot of grass showing, but I think if you were to crop in and just have like the group kind of like huddled up there in the top corner, it looks a little more abstract. But yeah, not an amazing photo. The grass looks nice. I like the little dead patch in the middle. I don't know. It's okay. We got Frank's house here. Every time I see a setup like this, I like to document them whenever somebody has an interesting living situation. Or maybe he just like hangs out there and lives in these apartments nearby. Don't know, but it's a cool setup. Shout out Frank. All right, the last one and this one as well. I definitely pulled over. I was not rolling when I took the pictures. This place used to be a venue. It's no longer a venue now. It's a church. Hooray. Yeah, I think I actually went there when I was younger to see some bands play. I think it used to be a theater before that, like a movie theater, and before that, like a regular theater. But this place is cool. For some reason, the entrance caught my eye on this day, so I pulled over, took a picture. Yeah, I definitely imagined something more interesting going on here, like with some people in the frame. Maybe I'll be able to get something when I'm cruising by one of these days. But I do like the colors on this one. The flash kind of worked out. Maybe a little bit more heavy on the flash. If I set it up like manually instead of doing the TTL auto thing. Yeah, maybe I could have better luck next time. This one's kind of blown out. This truck is obviously messed up. Just thought I'd take a quick snap of it. Nothing much more to add to this one. This guy here, this definitely has some friends in a folder. You know, I have a bunch of pictures like this of these alleyways leading up to the mountains. I definitely want to put together like a little project or like a little, I'm not sure what the word would be, like a little series of photos of these alleyways that lead north up to the mountains right there. I mean, some of these alleys are really interesting. I need to spend more time in them. But a lot of times these alleys are kind of sketchy. Like they're not so terrible in most places, but some alleys are kind of sketch. So yeah, I need to do some lurking in here. and a lot more of these alleys to continue with that project. I'm sure I will. We'll see what happens in the future, but yeah, these alleyways in the foothills, work in progress. Yeah, these people had an Elon sticker about saying like, yeah, we got this before he was crazy. We thought he was crazy. And I often wonder if people just have those so they don't get harassed or if they really mean it. But either way, you still got the Tesla. It says more about what you believe when you still keep the Tesla. And I can't fully blame people for getting an electric car that works for them, but it's like you're kind of supporting the weird guy. So, I don't know. Not the biggest fan of Elon, if you can't tell. But it doesn't matter what I think. Kind of sad about this one. I tried a lot of shots. I made passes trying to get these people in the bleachers a couple times. And none of them, they just didn't really turn out very good in my opinion. So yeah, I'll probably show maybe a couple more that come up. We'll have to see. But most of them are just, they didn't turn out the way that I planned. There might be a couple more in the future here. And speaking of the future, I have more photos of this graffiti, I think later on in this video. Graffiti is just kind of funny. I was wishing to get a picture with a person here. I think I got one later, but it's blurry. But we'll see. We'll see what happens next. All right, we got some football pictures here. One of this dude catching the ball. Always like to see motion. Next one here, dude showing the midriff. I guess crop tops are back in. Like we're in the 80s all over again. Sick. I'm down with it. Rock whatever you want. It's all good. Got some dudes stretching, doing some warm-ups here on this next one. And then in the end zone here, a little more movement. Framing was almost good. I like the lettering. Kind of squashed. I wish I was zoomed in a little bit more, but I think on the lens I had this day, I was fully zoomed in already, so I couldn't really do much. I could crop the image, but like I said, I don't really touch these. If I do, I'll let you know. But yeah, I wish it was cropped a little bit more. Probably could have caught a more interesting moment if I waited there a little bit longer. But I was getting bored. Football, people warming up, not super exciting to me, so I cruised out. I cruised back by the bleachers, tried to pop one off, got a blurry picture here. Can't decide if I like this. I think it's a little too blurry. Yeah, almost got what I wanted on this one. Quick one here, just the bleachers kind of blurred out. Some motion blur. The plants, just nice little trippy image. Nothing to write home about, really. It's just kind of nice to look at for a second. Yeah, back to this graffiti. Got a person in the frame. Would have been better if she was walking towards me instead of away. And as you can tell, my shutter speed was too slow. My ISO was definitely not high enough. My flash, I don't know, flash was probably okay, but yeah, definitely a little bit too blurry, too abstracted. I wish it was a little bit more clear. I don't mind a bit of blurriness. That's fine with me. Motion blur. I'm moving. I like when you can tell that I'm moving. But yeah, this one, almost worked out. And here I definitely bumped up the ISO. I pulled over for sure on this one. It's a little blown out. I think I had it set to 1600 or something. No, 2500. Hot damn. Yeah, that's definitely high ISO. Is it ISO or ISO? I don't know. But yeah, she caught me when I was taking these pictures. I was trying to be sneaky, but I was just trying to avoid awkwardness, but she definitely caught me, and I felt weird. And this was the best one that I got before I cruised away in shame. And same thing on this one. Definitely too blurry. I tried for it. I think I needed to track better with the camera instead of just holding it static. to get less motion blur, get less of that smearing going on. I mean, the flash throws are in place, but I wish that I was a little bit closer. Yada yada. Yeah, kind of failed on this one. And you can even see finger in frame, which is a classic failure. I got rained on later this day, and I had to ride home with my camera kind of tucked into my armpit because I checked the forecast, it was 0%. I mean, what the hell, man? Yeah, I was rolling by, I saw those lights shining like that, I just had to take a shot, and I did. Oh, third try on this one. This graffiti, I really wanted to get a good picture of it, and I failed because I do believe that this got covered up by something else. Yeah, I will never get a picture with this graffiti in the background. It's impossible now, so RIP. You ever get like halfway into doing something and you just kind of get over it? Bear with me here. I'm going to try to bump up the energy a little bit here, power through this. We see a lot of launches for SpaceX over here. I saw it coming and I tried to find an interesting way to frame it up. This is the best that I could do. I think I succeeded. I actually really like this photo. I like the triangle shape that it's making. I wish that the little jet stream, like the plume of smoke, was unbroken. But, I still think this is successful. I could probably edit this to make it pop a little more or something, but I'm not going to do that at this point. Yeah, I just wish that this was like NASA or something. Because I remember being a little kid, and I would feel patriotic when I would see or hear of like a space shuttle launch or, satellites and stuff, all space things that had to do with America. I was always so stoked. But now that it's like commercialized stuff, it's like a business, it's like commodities, like Starlink and stuff. It's just not as exciting as when it was like, science and people trying to advance humanity and like learn more. Now it's just like, buy our thing. We're putting these up, buy our thing. And it's just not as cool as it used to be. But that being said, I love all space stuff. Like whenever I can see a launch like this, I'm stoked. So yeah, I'm actually happy with this one. I'm going to save this one for sure. Yeah, this is kind of the aftermath. You can see the trail going into the horizon. Definitely a little blurry, but it has kind of a nice vibe. You can see it kind of still being lit up by the sun, even though the sun is down. Yeah, it just turns kind of like, it's cool. It turns into like a rainbow for a little while. I didn't really capture that with this picture, but it's super like cinematic looking when the sun's going down when they launch these things. I could have got a better photo of this, I'm sure, but I still like this. This gives a good idea of what it felt like despite, everything being kind of blurry. Sometimes you see bumper stickers and you just know that you're not going to get along with the person, That's what we have here. All right, this was a different day. I think this was like day 3 of photos that I'm showing you of ones that I've kind of kept or decided to show. This is like a third ride. So you've seen 1 and 2. Here's a third day. I was using a different lens, 50 millimeter. Normally I use like an 18 to, 80 or 120 zoom lens. It's a kit lens, the Fujifilm kit lens that I just kind of use as my beater. Yeah, I shoot with the XE2. It's my kind of backup camera, so if something happens to it when I'm riding, I won't be as sad as using my newer camera. But I don't normally ride with this lens because this lens is more than the camera. It's it's just something I take a little better care of, and I get kind of nervous. So that's why the focal length looks a little different. That's why the images look a little bit sharper, in my opinion. This lens is definitely like a razor sharp. I was going up a mountain and I passed by. I saw this bottle kind of embedded in the hillside. Looks like it's been there for a long time. It's like halfway full of dirt. It looks like it got bulldozed and like kind of pushed, like they're pushing the earth up the hill like after a storm or something, just doing like maintenance, and it just left the bottle like perfectly, like you can't really tell, but it's like parallel to the ground. Yeah, this is not looking down. This is like an embankment. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But I just thought it was kind of cool to see this bottle kind of lodged in the hillside. And this day I was trying to do some long exposures for sure. I haven't done a lot of stuff with a tripod and like just standing still and like, getting a frame just how you want it, like being kind of more meticulous, more slow. Having more of a relaxed process and trying to do something more methodical. And so I wanted to practice that. So that's what I did this day. I went up a mountain, rode up a couple miles, got up to these tunnels. I think I showed 2, and I don't think any of these photos are that good, really. But it was fun to, just mess around and do something a little different than what I normally do. I'm thinking of ways how I could, spice up these images, do something a little different in retrospect. And I'm not too sure how to make these long exposures more interesting, to be honest. I think there's only so much you can do with a long exposure when you're taking pictures of cars, like light trails. Maybe if there is a stationary subject in the frame too, that could be more interesting. Who knows? Maybe I'll try that in the future. Okay, here's another one. Second picture. Same tunnel. More light trails. Same idea. I did take self-portraits here because I was bored waiting between cars. I don't know if I'm going to show any of those because nobody needs to see my mug. Maybe I'll throw in like a blurry one. But I was bored, like waiting 10 minutes, 20 minutes sometimes between cars, hoping that they were coming down in the right direction. Then I moved over to a different tunnel. Yeah, this one here, I was getting closer to getting something that I wanted. Yeah, first one, the light trail, didn't quite make it around the bend. Second one, same thing, that light trail. I was really trying to get the lights to start outside the frame and end on the other side of the tunnel that you can't see after the turn. So the light trail goes along the road unbroken instead of stopping like in the tunnel or like a little bit outside the tunnel. Got another one here, same thing. The light trails, the cars weren't traveling long enough within like 8 seconds or 10 seconds or however long I had the exposure running for. Yeah, and I was running into like a physical limitation of my hardware. I could have got like a neutral density filter or something. I think I have one floating around. I could have slapped that on there to basically make the exposure longer because I had all my other settings dialed in for the light, and I didn't want it to be blown out, didn't want it to be too dark. So yeah, a neutral density filter would definitely help me out here to increase my exposure time, but I did not have it on me. So if I have one, I gotta rifle through all my stuff. If I have one, next time I do something like this, I'm gonna bring it with me for sure. Yeah, another one here. I'm just really bummed that I could not get the light to be an unbroken trail from the outside of the left of the frame all the way through the tunnel and around that corner. I needed like maybe a 15-second exposure. I needed it to be like double or maybe a third more time. But yeah, I got close, and I don't like the blown out. You can see there was a light at the upper left. It kept blowing out the frame a little bit. I forgot to shade it with my hand or something. But yeah, I tried. It was fun to do something different. I'm going to do more stuff like this in the future for sure. Just because it's fun. It's fun to do this. Not that these photos are like some like amazing thing, but they look pretty good. And it's nice. And it gave me an excuse to go up in the mountains and enjoy my time there, slow down. It was just a good time. This was a different day, so we're back to the 18 millimeter lens. I think it's 18. I should know this. I should know. Yeah, but it's definitely wider. This old Corvette just had a big old nose. Look at that thing. Imagine having this be your entire personality, to where you have the front and the back of your car just like blasted with stuff like that. Like, first of all, no one cares anyways. And we should be thinking about unifying, not dividing, bro. Working together so that way everybody is on the same page. So we all benefit instead of one team. That's the end of my rant. Back to looking at this photo and not just what this car says. This is really not that great of a photo. I wish that there was, like I always say, I always want there to be a person in the frame. I wish the person who drove this was in the frame. That would make this 1,000 times better. I circled back around and I didn't see them. We got some autofocus failures here. A shame. A shame. What this could have been. And we got another autofocus failure. It's probably my fault. I think I'm pulling up my camera too late, just shooting from the hip and not letting my camera have enough time to get the focus locked in. I think I'm just pulling my camera up and just firing right away. Or I need to let it, pre-focus and then shoot the shot. But I definitely get when I see an easy shot like this one, I get like a little bit of adrenaline, and I always just I don't wait long enough. I could have gotten closer. I get antsy and I just take the shot too quick oftentimes. So that's what happened here. But as you can see, I looped back around. I tried to get a picture from a different angle. I should have been closer on this one too. This picture is not good, but I think if I was closer, I'd actually really like this one. So I have to remember with this lens, I got to get pretty close. I always forget that. I always get messed up when I'm changing focal lengths. I have to remember what I got on the camera. Going for the old trusty once again. I wish my flash was a little bit brighter, or I wish these people were a little bit more towards that threshold. And my framing it really sucks here for some reason. So I'll keep trying this one. Yeah, and the same thing goes for this one. I should have been closer. I didn't want to startle this dude with the flash. I didn't want him to fall or something. But what I should have done was when I was passing him, I should have matched his speed and asked if I could take a picture, so I don't startle this guy, but I didn't. So this is the best that I got, and then I immediately regretted riding by. This little fellow is having a great day, looking nice in his little suit. Shout out. Love to see someone smiling to themselves. That's just nice, isn't it? Here's a creepy one. I like to roll by on the sidewalk, and some nights this place is packed, and you'll get just a row of people getting their nails done. And this night it was just the one person here getting their nails done. I'm definitely going to cruise back by because I've definitely seen this thing stacked full of people. And I think that'd be a fun picture. I just have to worry about the flash, I think. It reflects on the glass, and it could definitely blow out the scene, depending on the angle that you hit it from. So I'll cruise by. I'll check it out again. This is what we got this time, though. And I'm going to leave you with some water stream lit up with a flash from a sprinkler. Yeah, I don't really love this one. I don't know why I'm including this, but yeah, shout out. Thanks for sticking around. Let me know if you liked any of the photos. Let me know what you think. I'm sorry if I ranted a little bit about things that aren't photography related. The world is a messed up place. We're messed up people. We can do better. And I am very happy to be able to shoot photos, even if they are not amazing all the time. It's it's something I can do that is constructive. It feels good. I have an end product And it forces you to go out and do stuff, do things, see things, even if they're not significant. I'm still out there, and I'm still getting a nice little workout on my bike. So it's all good. So like I said, let me know what you thought. If not, have a good one. Maybe I'll see you around here. Bye bye.